minutes, yeah, so.
I know, because I was like, get there and then we're down people at work, so too
We
long.
need everybody to vote, yeah.
I guess, I've been spreading the word, I have been.
I think the first day of early voting was like in and out in less than, I spent more time looking at that old piece of old voting machine in the window there than I did actually voting.
That's funny.
So I was like, I remember those when I was a tiny child.
It didn't take long.
I'm gonna have to slide out at some point,
Mhm.
so forgive me when and if I do.
You're fine. May I send you with some things? Where's the number to, let's see. Actually, I'm gonna want to. Well, I have some goodies. I have the photos. We're hanging as promised. So,
Do you remember what you said the door code was?
I can't tell you.
Do you know what
I
it
can
is?
go whisper it in your ear.
Oh, okay.
Right
Oh,
now.
yeah, because we were on live, okay, yeah.
So,
Oh, hey, yes, hello, people.
but yes, we can share that with you.
Yes,
We
thank
should
you.
all have that just in case, okay? And I don't know if Krista.
Captain is on his way.
Okay. Started for us, so we are good.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excuse me.
This one, we have TV today.
Yes.
Hey, Kelly.
Wow.
It's been so long, your hair is long. I can't hear you though. Oh,
Excuse me.
My tech,
oh, we fancy?
we are.
Check this out. Let's see how this goes. I was trying to take notes last meeting. It looked like I totally ignored you the whole meeting because I was staring at my laptop. But you know, I was listening to you
Absolutely.
and responding. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
I was like, oh, I could have thinking that I'm not doing there.
I didn't think you.
We're good. While we're waiting on everybody to kind of get up and running, I'm just going to show y'all. This one's a little more pixelated than I had hoped, however, I think it is still good to go. Yeah, and I've got all the hang instructions and we've got like a little display for their names and things like that. So you guys
That's
just need
nice.
to determine where you want to put them. This is our first ever digital trophy contest. So they're gonna be hung at McGee Center. So let's put those there so people can check them out. Hey,
You
Conway.
don't need more audio, the TV remote, you can just turn the speakers up.
Up and down, awesome, thank you so much. Hey, can y'all hear us okay? I'm not sure where to look, so. Awkward conversation. And do you mind, Krista, since you're on, can you tell me kind of who all's on, just you and Kelly right now, and Natalie?
That's it right now.
Excellent, and I know Canton's on his way.
Actually, this is really nice. We can hear you guys really well and see everything, so that's pretty cool.
Well, thank you, Jared. IT got us a little bit better. Thought it might be better on your end experience there, so.
Did much better.
Good. Here's a quick agenda for today, you guys. I just sent it out, and I did it for you guys who are on Zoom also.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, did everybody have fun on their snow days?
Snow days. I worked on my snow day.
I was gonna say, mine, I was like, that's kind of the gift and the downfall of COVID is you don't really shut down. You just pivot. We pivot. That's
Yeah, I had to close. I was gonna go in Friday, but the laundromat was locked up, and I didn't want to deal with
Yeah,
having to open it up and deal with customers. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna wait till Saturday.
there's that.
Now I'm catching up on, like I was gonna be off tomorrow for my birthday, but it's like, yo, I gotta go work.
So you have
My
a
birthday
birthday?
was a snow day.
Oh, wow.
So I got the freedom.
That's nice.
Well, happy February birthdays
Yeah, I was
to you
about to say,
guys.
happy late
I
birthday.
know. Slid that in there nicely. That's good.
That's a good one.
It's great.
Okay, so I guess we're not really voting, so it's not necessary to have a quorum on anything today. So if somebody wants to call us to order, we can get started. I'm sorry, I will call us, let me try it. 4:32, I'll call us to order. All right. And then, like I said, Canton may still slip in today. So we did talk about a lot. I felt like I rushed through quite a bit at the last meeting, but I know balancing the two, we talked about 2022 goals, closing out. So it's just kind of a checklist of it was quite a bit. So just know that at any point as we go forward, if we need to stop and have dialogue on a certain conversation, totally open. Last month was a bit of a different animal. So I know in terms of, bear with me, I just got in some financials, and Natalie, I don't know if you were made aware of that. Okay, and I'm not sure I copied you this morning, so, well, first of all, meeting minutes were also emailed to you guys from last month. Are there any questions? Will somebody move to approve those notes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. And then you guys just let me know on any meeting if there's any calls to action or anything that someone's volunteered to do or we've assigned, that will always be in there, and I will try to send a pretty quick follow. Or Natalie does it just wonderfully too, but we'll try to make sure that we have kind of some SMART goals on this year in terms of deadlines and who specifically is assigned, because we had some
Great idea.
contraction last year. We've got some pretty aspirational goals for this year, so we do want to be pretty time bound in the work that we are going to do. And so today too, just be thinking about the committees that you're on, if there's a way that you prefer to have communication or a way that you prefer to work in between meeting times, if there's a certain activity. For instance, I know the Community Action Group, when we have some projects, we'll do bi-weekly meetings, or if there has to be a weekly cadence, we can do that too. So y'all just be mindful of how you do want to work this year so we can achieve our goals too. So, but all right.
I was gonna say, I don't know if this is the right time to bring it up, but I saw in the minutes that there are 2 committees that still need somebody on them,
Yes.
and I can do both of those.
Okay.
I think that'd be cool.
Thank you, thank you. Let me back.
Oh, it's Community Action Committee and Canopy Management Committee.
Okay.
Sounds like fun. No idea what I'm doing, but I'll find
I
out
was
very
gonna
quickly.
say, it is, it's a,
Great.
we are a hands-on learning group, but community action, really kind of outreach, education, and we're gonna talk about a few things that we do have with that.
Is that where the new Facebook posts are coming from?
Yes, and
I
Natalie
noticed that.
does
That's
those
nice.
for us, and that's what we wanna do, is we'll get kind of a structure that will align with some of our programs, and then also some key holidays or important moments we could share with the community about why trees were good for our infrastructure for all different ways. And so we wanna have a good marketing cadence this year, so you'll see a little bit of that coming. And then canopy management too, like, so if we do any plantings, tree plantings, it would kind of all fall in that. Their support teams, hands-on, so hopefully we'll grow to have many hands and light work. So, okay, so thank you for volunteering for that.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited.
Okay. All right. So once we've done that, now I'm going to go back, Natalie, to that conversation, but talking about financials, we don't really have a February update. There's not been any changes. There've been no purchases since our last conversation. And so as of last reporting, there was $77.85.10 that was available. I have about $201 waiting for reimbursement for all the supplies for the photography contest, which is fine. We did have $500 approved for that, so we still have some money to roll forward. So that has been, those are the only updates I have for that. And then I did find out from Lauren just a little bit ago that the Conway Corp funds have come through and they're gonna vote it through on the February 22nd City Council meeting. I'm not sure if the wording was correct on that. Anyone want to clarify? Okay, it looks like it's
February 22nd.
it'll go through City Council.
Okay.
All right, and then so we'll have better numbers next time we talk for sure. Okay, I know you moved to do the minutes. Did anyone second?
Yes.
Clear.
Yeah. You just didn't vote.
All of
They were moved and seconded, but no, you didn't vote.
Oh, all in
All in
favor,
favor.
sorry. Anyone opposed? All in favor? You handled your questions?
Sure.
Good, okay, all right, perfect. All right, so old business, we will go through and just kind of recap. So we did for the photography contest, I've kind of already talked about that, but to close out that round, we need to get the photo winners hung at the McGee Center. And so we've gotten all the printouts for that. We've got the canvases. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we have our photos in and printouts and name tags. So we'll just work, Derek, let me know what we need to do.
Did we say that they were gonna be at the McGee Center?
Or Donna, where did we
I was about to
say?
say, I really like this. We'll take those to the sports center.
Well, wherever,
Right.
yeah, I mean, wherever you would like to have them. They did turn out nicely and they've got some really good displayers. And it really, I think for all
I think they're
three
great.
and the nameplates and everything, $200 is not a bad idea, pretty fast or bad cost. So anyway, so we've got that, so that's finished. Off of the urban forestry management meeting that we had, the special committee meeting, we talked about wanting to have a meeting with James and Kyle with the city to talk about roles, partnerships, how you guys want to receive information. So there's several things pending due to snow. We've canceled, and so that's still to be determined. So I don't have any updates or anything like that for you guys. And in terms of the Interstate Beautification project that we had talked about last time, it's a grant that we currently have through RDOT and with the chamber. Still kind of in a holding pattern, but we do have a date. So on February 10th, the city will have a meeting with them. So I don't know, Kyle, if there's anything else to.
Nothing on our end right now
Yeah.
for that.
Because so we'll know more on February 10th. It sounds like there's more to come, and then there will be a follow-up meeting. Once those three members have had a meeting, then they'll follow up with everyone else involved, and we'll look at funding for that. Anything else to add on that, Chris?
I have a question, two questions actually. Did you get the 200 from the master gardeners?
Not since January, but I can tell you, I'll have a better wrap up from Lauren. It looks like in the next week, once the city does their month end wrap up, but I don't know if we received it last year.
This should have been the 200 for Arbor Day.
So if it's happened since January, I'm gonna say no, but I will go back and have her review. I can pull those ledgers.
Just let me know if you have not gotten it.
Okay. So that was for Arbor Day. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anybody else? Okay. All righty. So I think let's just move on into new business. So part of our 2022 goals, we're to start with some tree plantings, which we know February is the time for that to happen. So Derek, I don't know if you can share locations.
What did we talk about? So I think we talked about the McGee Center. We talked about a place at the, on the trails, somewhere on the south side. Trey was the one that, I know he emailed you guys about that, but I think there was two different locations
So
that
there
we were
was
talking
Tucker
about.
Creek, I know by Salem.
And we were talking about the south side of the trail there, because there's no development right there. It's just kind of an open space. We thought it would be a good place for trees. Or we could still have some more planting at the McGee Center. Or we can do both.
And then was there somewhere that is the dandelion place or the daffodil place in the south part of Tucker Creek, the same location? I've heard that referenced a couple of times, the place where the daffodils are.
Why Mountain?
I think it's the area on the Tucker Creek bike trail.
I didn't think that was
That's
in
the
our
real
county.
place.
So is that 3 location potentials? The one by the daffodils, the one near Salem?
And then McGee is an option.
Okay.
Do we know how much the construction at Salem is gonna take out trees in that area? Like, so we know where to plant it so it avoids getting destroyed by the construction.
Oh, yeah, they'll have some specific, at least general areas.
Yeah.
Well, what we're talking about planting is actually already developed, so it's not actually in there.
Okay,
We wouldn't have any risk of that.
okay.
Well, I mean, right now that parking lot at Salem is closed, right?
It is.
That's what, is that what we're talking?
That
Yeah.
parking lot?
Just west, that's exactly right.
Okay, yeah. That's way out of the way.
So access would be a little bit difficult there, actually, right now.
I bet we can.
So what, did we find out what kind of trees are available right now for planting?
They have quite a lot, and they didn't give me any specifics, but they just kind of said, yes, we can provide some trees.
Shit.
It's the right direction.
Yeah, you know, I don't know how to proceed if it, you know, if we want to, you know, I don't know, is this a project that we're thinking about inviting some volunteers to help with? Like, do we want to be looking at a date to do a planting and then see how many trees they'll give us and how we'll get them?
Well, so I am not familiar with those exact, I mean, I can't visualize what we're talking about. Are these places that need larger volume of planting or a few trees? Like, what, I would like to get as many trees in the ground as we can, and we can get volunteers. People will help us plant trees. So I'm not concerned about that unless there's access concerns.
The two locations that I know that I talked to Trey about, one of them there at the McGee Center, it's just open green space that will never probably ever be developed. A lot of it is low-lying areas, so which helps with making sure that the trees make it. Matter of fact, the ones that we planted, I think we've had really good success with there at a higher percentage than I thought we would, quite honestly. So there's a little bit of room still there, and I think there also is some low-lying areas, same concept, it's just green space, not gonna be developed there on the south side of the bike trail. So same kind of concept.
So there's no plan to extend that parking lot? Like, some people park on the grass right now and it's full at Salem.
I've never seen anything like that, Krista. And
You never seen people parking on the grass?
no, I'm saying I've never seen any type of development of that one. I see a lot of different projects, but I haven't seen that one.
Away from the parking lot, yeah.
Yeah, because that space is, what, 100 by 500?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's 5,000 square feet. It's pretty substantial as far as,
It's big.
yeah. And if we did the western-ish side of that, is the bridge, the other bridge, kind of farther down? Like kind of
It's
over
getting
by that
close.
other bridge?
Mhm.
That might be the easiest way. Is there a trail from the neighborhood, which that's a little cul-de-sac anyway, but is there a trail from there into that little green space?
Kind of, sort of, it kind of
Yeah.
takes you over into, yes.
So we could, somewhere around there would work.
I would
I
agree.
guess I have a question about McGee. Is there talk, I saw people out there working the other day, are they expanding or gonna maybe expand that community garden?
Every year, they talk to us about potentially adding a few
Yeah.
lots. So yes, they may extend it out just a touch, but it won't be anything significant. They may extend it 4 different plots through there.
Right. But over time, I guess, just think about maybe avoiding where they would wanna
To do that.
keep building.
Is there anything, is there
At
anything?
McGee, there's like this swale, kind of like a drainage swale, and it is wet, like,
That's
I
right.
don't see how
Where
you
we're
could ever
planting the
grow
trees now, they
vegetables.
wouldn't want.
Yeah.
my feet weighed 32 pounds each when I planted trees up there.
So, yeah, I think there's some area there at McGee where we could plant some more trees and they would be useful in it. It's an area that I don't think they would expand the community garden into.
Now, are there trees we could put out there, well, all trees, but anything specifically beneficial to the gardens?
That's what I was thinking, maybe a fruit tree or something, if you can do that.
I know we have to worry about maintenance on that too, but I'm just trying to think, fruit or nut tree, or is there something that's really good for attracting bugs and pollinators to help? like hackberries that nobody wants or whatever we're calling those trees.
We planted kind of a variety of things over there before, but there were some pecans and they have survived. Pecan trees would be great.
Yeah.
I think. They're fruit trees, we wouldn't be able to get those for free. And they usually take, to get like an apple or a peach takes pesticide applications, which are not gonna happen on public property, I don't think.
And I think native trees, that's good for pollinators. So,
Absolutely.
Drain, is there anything we can do there?
Pecan trees would be fine, or willow or water oak, tupelo, cottonwood.
The ones that we planted last spring, I don't think anybody watered additionally. It would be nice actually if this summer we would, have a few people to maybe check on them occasionally and if they needed water, because there is water at the community garden, you can haul buckets.
Yeah.
And that might help survival a little bit.
This is a random I'm gonna table it. I'm not gonna get us derailed on carts for water. Like, what resources do we need to help maintain and water our trees that don't have good access? We'll talk about that later. So I'm a big fan of putting more at McGee. I mean, can we do multiples? Like, I guess it's how many trees can we get?
How
How much room?
How much
do we have?
area is left over there, Krista, to plant? Kind of staying with the line that we're on right now.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how close you want to get to like the road into the parking lot, because we stayed pretty far away from that. And that's higher ground over there anyway. We could actually plant some on the, like between, I forget, is that College on that side?
The south side.
Between College and the little swale area, I think we could plant some trees in that area, which there's daffodils in there now too. I don't know how far the daffodils went.
Where am I missing all these daffodils? Where
Are you talking about jonquils?
I want to go see them, but I already know where they're at.
That's what I'm wondering. Are they
Yes.
jonquils or are they
They're
the yellow
the
ones? They're the
same
first flowers we see
Yeah.
in spring. Okay.
Yeah. So they were just planted this fall at McGee. So there's the Daffodil Days group and they rescue daffodil bulbs from like areas that are being developed and stuff like that. And they
What a
replant
happy
them in public
little
areas. And they had a bunch at Pompey Park, and that they're supposed to be developing that. So then they actually dug all those up. They moved those over to McGee and some to the trail area there by Hogan.
That's awesome.
I want to get some.
That's hilarious. I had no idea that was a thing.
That's great.
So do we just need a vote to move to do one of these? Tracy?
Can we do both?
I say both.
I mean,
Well,
why
I mean,
not do both?
the only problem that I see is today is what, the 2nd? I mean, the 7th? So that leaves you with 1, 2, 3 Saturdays. I don't know when else you're gonna plan.
And let me can we extend it through, so that's a good question. Do we need these to happen by the end of February, true physical February, or can we extend these into March? In terms of
You're
weather?
gonna lessen.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, because of the potted trees, we can go into March, and last year our planting was actually in March.
Yeah, because I think we did some in April. Like-
Early, the earlier the better,
Right.
Yeah.
but we could get into early March.
Because since we're getting kind of a later start,
Well, and the other thing they said, they actually have some trees that are actually very root bound, and so they're willing to give us like all of those, knowing that, some of them might not survive. But I don't know, it sounded like they had hundreds of trees. And then the issue is just getting them, because that's multiple truckloads of trees.
So I can volunteer a truck and
We could-
possibly get a
so we could-
trailer.
We could go
We do a
pick up
parks
some.
and rec truck.
We
and
can go
trailer.
pick some up. We've always done that, we can do that.
Okay, cool.
So
Yes, I need to get an actual number. That's what I'm figuring out.
So let's vote for both and then
Parks and Rec
when we get
can
the numbers.
pick up the trees?
Yeah, we'll pick them up, Natalie.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do we want to shoot for 2 plantings?
And then if we don't get enough trees, we can just do one.
Makes sense.
But I think, so yeah,
How we gonna get volunteers?
I can help with some of that. Yeah, so we can either do it through Give Pulse through UCA, which goes out to the community at large, and through UCA, but there's already some registered service organizations who have interest, who've already reached out. So once I have numbers, like if you can give me a number of people that we want,
That's awesome.
I don't have any concerns about getting volunteers.
Cool.
I also have family. No, I'm just kidding. We're a package deal.
Everybody follow on up.
Yeah.
No, but we can get some volunteers, I feel sure. So are
So
there,
I'm sorry, I'm rereading this email that I got from the urban forester at the state, and she said, would 100 be too many, or can you find spots for as many as we have left?
Yeah.
yes,
And I said, 100 sounds great.
100 sounds,
That sounds
We're talking
great.
seedlings or
I was
saplings?
gonna say,
How big are
they,
these?
yeah.
They're potted. How big are the pots? Do we know?
They're gallows, aren't they? Or what
So they're like a 2-gallon pot.
That's what I was.
It's a tall tree pot. The annoying thing is they don't stand up by themselves.
Yeah.
Because they're these tall tree pots.
So you gotta stake them.
Especially if we can get some assembly line action going with these. Now, let me ask you too, would we have any, where that location is it all shovel digging? Can we get any kind of,
We also need 811
Yep.
Yeah, definitely 811.
I've been thinking that the whole time.
oh yeah,
Which we'll take care of that as long as we know the needs.
okay. And I guess we need to do that. Would there be a lot that may impede our
No,
planting there? Okay,
but we still need to do it.
oh, absolutely.
If we get 100, do you wanna like plan for like 50 at McGee and 50 at Tucker Creek?
That,
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't even know if we need that many at Tucker Creek.
I was gonna say, I don't know the space, will that allow for that?
We almost could do like, cause we kind of have the 3 options, because there's the 2 different places on Tucker Creek, right? So we could do like 30 at McGee and 35 in each, or some, it's divided up in some way. And you know, they won't all make it. They're, you know, some of them, like I said, are kind of root bound and stuff, but that's okay.
In terms of watering and maintenance and things like that, especially for Tucker Creek.
We can pump it out of the creek.
Actually, you just dip it out of the creek, which is how they're watering the trees at Conway Station Park. You just get a bucket and
Yeah.
it's
we need to
really
think about
awesome if
that.
you can get neighbors that live around there to help out with that.
So I have I listened to the Fayetteville mayoral update on YouTube. I sent it to you guys. I don't know. So it's like 1 minute long blurb, but it was about people, it's about the environment, and so trees made it into their city update, and he was able to speak to the 8,000 volunteer hours for their community, to the 500 trees that they planted, to the over 1,200 that were given away as mitigation. And so I have high aspirations to get us to that point. And so taking us back to maybe we could get neighbors. They also have the Adopt a Park and Adopt a Trail, which would definitely take a load off of your guys, be helpful. So thinking about implementing some of those programs, and we could definitely get the adjacent communities or neighborhoods engaged with that, I think, fairly easily. Now, I don't know, as far as timeline, we're gonna get the trees in faster than we could get a program going, but we could maintain those until we could possibly get some of those programs going on too to help.
Well, and if there are neighborhood associations in some of those neighborhoods, I mean, I think that might be the first step, would just be to contact some of those and say, hey, we're planting these trees and we'd love some help keeping them watered this summer.
Okay. Does anyone want to volunteer to reach out to those neighborhood associations?
I'll do it. That's kind of my
Beautiful. Oh, yeah. Oh, Claire, that's
direction.
perfect. Yes. See? Awesome. So, and then just get, if you need any specific details on locations or whatever, obviously I'm not your person, but promise to go.
Well, and you know, if there was a group, like if there was a neighborhood association that said, yeah, we've got some people that are interested, you know, I'd be happy to like meet with a small group over there to talk about like what they should be doing.
I was about to ask that. Is there a danger of overwatering these trees? Because
Yeah, I mean, there could be if they went crazy and gave them a whole bucket every day or something.
we're just talking about the Tucker Creek areas, right?
A little workshop and we could video it. That way if other groups came along and we weren't accessible or someone wanted to look ahead, we could start having a resource library for something like that too. Okay.
I'm trying to think of how we could regulate that. Can we have like a clipboard and say the last time this area was watered was this date or something? Because HOAs don't talk to each other.
Right.
Maybe giving groups like certain areas, you know, so like one HOA does this area and one does another, and then they kind of develop their own schedule.
I was gonna say, we could leave it to them because they will all operate a little bit differently. But we could have a rotation, you know, well, Krista monitors them, but I mean, we could have a shared responsibility of monitoring on our end too, to see if there are any needs that are happening instead of trying to, you know, legislate it all.
I would like to get some trunk guards, because those areas are mowed, and we are out of trunk guards, so I would need to purchase those.
Do we need any kind of water bags or anything, do you think, or just the guards?
I think just the guards, since they'll be in the grass.
We can implement maybe your mulching idea of straight lines and triangles instead of circles to help.
Yeah, if they're gonna mulch it.
We're gonna do something with that.
It just depends on, like over there, yeah, depends on the way they're driving through it, the way they mow it.
Do you have any ideas, Derek, about like how to protect the trees, like in the areas that are mowed? Like what would be easiest?
I think mulch is gonna be the easiest route.
Just for them to be able to identify.
Yeah, if you get it out, you know, 12 to 16 inches around it, something like that. I know it's a lot for one little tree, but
So we'll need mulch also. Do we need to factor that in?
Are we gonna wait until we see how many make it before
probably
we
get them
mulch?
planted and then buy the mulch.
Or are you mulching every one?
I don't know, we've not done anything quite as large, I think, kind of at one time.
We do 100
You really
trees.
like you really don't start mowing until May, right? Am I wrong about that? Is May
April.
too late?
Yeah, April.
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 So we probably have like about a month to get them mulched, I would guess.
Yeah, and if we plant 100 trees and do a bag a tree, that'd be $300 in brown mulch. It'd be 300 bags.
Can we do trailer loads?
These small trees don't need a full bag.
It's safe plastic is all it's gonna do.
I think you can use half a bag per tree.
Yeah, or half a bag, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do trailer, I'd rather do trailer loads, yes.
I was just saying cost or even just,
If we can,
ease up-
yeah, if you can get in
again,
there,
if we can get in there.
yeah, and we have a wheelbarrow, I can do all of them.
Yep. Any other supplies or costs that we can think of that would be attached to these plantings?
Derek, I know the Parks Department has provided mulch over at Laurel Park. Is it possible to get any mulch for these trees?
I don't know.
Can we get it from the landfill?
You can say no.
I've asked before if they do
I would
mulch and they
say
don't, I don't know what they
They
do
don't
with
I
their
don't know
stuff.
if we can supply
They did it
the
last
mulch,
Oh.
but if the tree board purchased the mulch, we would go pick
I was
it
about
up
to say,
and put
I was
it
asking
on
for
at the
something
park
about
for,
that.
we could
That's weird.
probably take care of that for sure.
Okay,
So we could get it on site.
okay, that is helpful. Honestly, mulching is a great thing for kids to do. So like if we had young kids that, you know, were wanting to help, mulching is actually easier for them to do a lot of times than actually planting.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say, I know we're doing March 30th, the Science Wednesday, but that week before is Arkansas Arbor Day. So I mean, we could do, so we have to.
And that's spring break.
Action.
Oh, that's spring break.
Everybody's gonna be in Colorado.
Yeah. Or at the golf.
But just a thought, but that would be good to get the kids involved. Okay.
But maybe the mulching is something that the HOAs could run off with, and maybe that's our volunteer base on this, so kind of, some communities that you were talking about, like groups, like the Adopt a Trail or whatever, there's also like groups called tree keepers, and that's literally what they do, is just a little bit of tree care.
Are we gonna need like stakes and wires and stuff to hold them up? Would that be part of the expenses?
We don't need stakes.
Stake,
Okay.
we haven't staked them so far anyway, yeah. Okay. So, do we wanna look at dates for potential plantings? Sure. And do we need to do this weekday, weekend? Since cause city work is newer for me.
I think you'll have more volunteers on the weekend.
Yeah, especially Saturday.
But obviously we have everything else delivered and ready
They'd all be out
before,
there.
yeah. Okay.
And I can get my office out to volunteer too.
When the new Lions Club, you have to update us, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. At the Lions
I
Club.
forgot, that was old business, we have to go back to that. So I mean, obviously, we're going into the weekend of the 12th, we've got the 19th. Is that President's Day
That
weekend?
feels a little too soon to me to
Okay.
get this all figured out.
Be honest, yes, good information.
So what if we did the 26th and the 26th?
Okay.
I think shooting for the 26th might be good, and then, there's always a chance that weather's not gonna cooperate too, so
Oh, yeah.
having a rain date is not a bad idea.
Yeah, backup idea.
So you said the
Are we
20th,
thinking planting and mulching all in the same?
I think mulching after. And that way that'll give us time if we wanna do volunteers or HOA or kids.
So are we doing
Take a little bit of
planting the
load off.
26th of February and then mulching the 26th of March? Does that give us enough time to see if they're gonna make it or not?
Kelly?
I think you need two different dates to plant trees. That's a lot of trees, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Were you
So
saying?
one day at McGee Center and one day at Tucker Creek or whatever.
So you're saying,
Right.
you said the 26th and the 26th, I guess clarify for us.
February 26th and March 26th.
For a second planting,
Yeah, and that way you could have some date in April that you go back and mulch and do all that and maybe use kiddos. That's what I'm thinking.
so Tucker Creek on March, and that is the tail end of spring break, so I don't know thoughts on, of course, everyone should be getting back that weekend, I don't know if that'll make a difference.
I don't know, as many people have been stuck with their kids of late, they might be happy to go somewhere new.
I think it would be harder to get UCA students.
Yeah, that's my concern.
Yeah.
Adult help.
I mean, I think even, I don't know if you guys think it's too much to do consecutive Saturdays.
Yeah, what about, that's what I was thinking, the 26th and the 5th.
Or even the 12th.
Yeah,
I would stay off spring break if I could.
Yeah, the 12th would be the last Saturday before spring break, I think.
Yeah.
Like before the actual Saturday of spring break, yeah. The first Saturday, you know what I mean?
so do we wanna do the 12th of March instead of the
It'd be a week
26th?
break, it makes sense to me.
So the 12th?
Why don't we leave the 26th to mulch and or a rain date?
And that would be fun to mulch, and that way if kids don't need quite as much muscle. Okay.
Okay, so we decided on March 12th for our second
So do we
planting day.
Yes.
plan for Tucker Creek on the 12th and McGee on the 26th? Or is there a preference
No preference.
as far as space?
Okay, thanks.
Yay. And then Krista, you'll let us know or confirm kind of how many trees and pick up and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
and I'll work with Derek on like getting the trees to the site then, right? Derek?
Sounds good.
Okay.
And we have 3 sites, right?
2.
Oh, 2 sites, okay. I thought you said there were 2 along Tucker Creek, but I was just, because we were talking about dividing into thirds earlier.
I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Got it.
I don't know if that's official.
Krista, were you gonna say something?
Mhm.
We wanna stick with 2? Okay, good. Okay. Anything else on tree plantings? Thank y'all, that was good. And I will work on volunteers. Okay. And shovels and tools and things like that, do we have enough? Did I already ask that? Do we need any other kind of supplies?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to ask people to bring
I'm
shovels
gonna bring my own
Right, and I'll
Yeah.
bring,
and
we've
just
got
duct
a
tape it with something
little
that
stockpile.
knows.
and just have whatever else, yeah, whatever's available for other people.
Okay.
And say it's like, bring your own if you have it, but not necessary.
Yeah, I would say I would recommend bringing shovels and maybe like gardening gloves.
Oh, yeah.
And then also, as soon as we can get that confirmed, or if we're good on that, Natalie, marketing, if we wanna draft up some kind of post or something, we could start kind of advertising for some volunteers too, just to
That's
the
what I was thinking
community
too.
and see, just see who wants to get involved, just kind of put it out there
That sounds
to
good.
whomever. Okay,
We can post it to our Facebook group and see if the city will
Yeah, we'll
repost
do
it,
Or
yeah.
we'll redo it for sure.
oh, yeah.
and we can get these things on like some of the city and
And there's
chamber
A lot of
calendars
times
too.
businesses
once we-
that'll call us asking for
Yeah.
some way for them to help.
Mhm.
If we may look back through a few of those and try
That's a
to
good idea too.
reach back out.
Once we post this on our social media, I'll just send out an email. That way you know it's on there and then you can go and share from your
Thanks,
page. Will that
Natalie.
work?
We
Yes,
could just do a quick Google form too, if people wanna sign up, it'd be easy.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
Let me confirm that we'll have trees.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
let's wait, I'm like, oh, Krista, I need some kind of conversation.
Sending the email right now.
Yeah.
As soon as Krista says go, we'll go, okay. And or Derek, I don't know if you need to follow up on anything either.
no.
Okay.
If we got the tree, we're good.
Good deal. All right. So moving on, that's February and March. March is gonna be kind of busy now. But we also, so Science Wednesday updates did confirm, we are still planning for an in-person event with an easy pivot. Don't have a ton of updates, just right now we're looking at panelist options and we wanna have a diverse perspective on who we'll talk about. So economic, straight tree talk, some urban forestry, and then economic perspective. I've reached out to College of Education too. I'm hoping that Kyle, either you or James or someone from the city or streets would like to sit down and maybe be a panelist. So it's scheduled for March 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. at King's. And we also may, I think we'll all be in good shape by then, and we're hoping for an in-person event. We talked about using that as a fundraiser, and I still, I need to touch base with Dustin, but we've had several talks about either having signature drinks or some food items, whereas part of the proceeds will go to, but we know we want to have some kind of effort to where it goes towards the planting of trees. We'll have a table set up if on site where they can get more information. I've spoken just briefly with Ryan at Rock City Outfitters about some merchandise, like what kind of partnership we can have to get some outright so that we can sell our own merchandise, possibly having some things for volunteers, and then also we would love to get some merchandise into their stores so that if someone buys, part of the proceeds will go towards tree plantings too. So that's part of education, low emphasis, and then also generating some funds.
I have 300 stickers.
Yay, and she has stickers, so yay.
Definitely go somewhere with that.
Last year.
Maybe even sell them for $1 or something.
Yeah.
They're cute.
So we did start with some stickers last year. We do have marketing funds that have rolled over from last year, so I don't think there'll be anything additional. If so, we'll get back to you on that. I don't really have any updates. I'll get back with you guys. We're due to have another meeting this week, but right now we're just looking at panelists and who we can get. So if y'all know of anyone, let me know, but we really only need 4. I think we're in good shape.
How many signature drinks are you wanting?
Well, I was gonna talk to Justin about what they have, because we mentioned anything that has an ingredients that, came from a tree. Obviously, we wanna keep it kind of tree related. We like to have an alcoholic and a non-alcoholic.
I was gonna say gin,
Gin is what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
lime, anything with lime in it, like
yeah, lots of things
I don't
go
know.
with
So
lime.
like gin and tonics,
Yeah.
but we'll call it something funny.
Yes. So if y'all have any ideas on that, I know when I spoke with Ashley from Science Wednesday, she's had kind of a dream to have pint glasses that have etched Science Wednesday, so it'd be kind of cool if we could do a select, like purchase, maybe buy a pint, get this souvenir glass, and we'll have our tree board and their information, make her dreams come true, help ours as well.
That'd be
So
great.
it'd be a win-win, so that'd be kind of cool. So I'm trying to think like, different demographics who will be there. And I'm gonna follow up with Dustin, but it has previously been all ages before too. So again, we need to be mindful, that won't be the biggest pull, but there was a place for everybody. So we've talked about some potential fundraisers, and then also as we think about when we're spending our money or we're promoting this, if we have to pivot to Zoom, is it still a good fit? So somebody could still stay at home, participate via Zoom with their own beers, or we could buy ginger beer and give them their pint glass or whatever. We don't know the laws in terms of alcohol distribution to the community at
Don't
large.
think we have
Probably not a
a
good idea.
license for that.
So that's why I said we'll have some other ideas, but we'll either have cups or some other fun things to start marketing to the community early on, probably about 6 weeks out. We're looking at, we need to start doing that, and then a cadence just of invites and participation, and they can either fund and help sponsor, they can donate, they can show up, whatever. So just make it kind of a community thing. So that's kind of where we are with that. Don't know if you'll have any more questions about that. Easy breezy,
I don't know
fine.
if you need somebody to run the table or whatever, I can do that. I can do it
Of
with one
course.
body.
Okay, so, yeah, all of these will come within who wants to participate. So, good,
Absolutely.
okay. That's always a fun night too. Okay, Kelly, not to put you on the spot, but I know Pollinator community is passionate. We had talked about Canton maybe reaching out to get us a speaker to come in and talk about pollinator communities at one of our meeting. And then we had talked about wildflower programs and different things, but Kelly, I know you're passionate about that, so I don't know if you have any kind of updates for us? And maybe check your sound for us. Sorry, can't hear you, that's okay. We all do it.
Sorry, I turned it off when the
You're
dog
fine.
started barking. So there's a program called the North American Pollinator Protection Campaign, and it is partnered with a gajillion people from the USDA to the NRCS to a ton of different state organizations. So it basically has what looks to me like city guidelines or area guidelines or state guidelines for pollinators. So that's sort of one piece. And under those guidelines, it has management, foraging habitat, reproduction, shelter, invasive species, chemical use, and monitoring. And I'll send this outline out to everybody. And then the other thing, and Tracy and I talked about this, was the ADOT Wildflower Program, and I talked to Joe, help me, Ledvina, there, and we had a really nice conversation. And so the way that this works is they don't really have a map, so we have to come up with the areas that they would like, or we would like for them to do, and they basically clear it. They put down an herbicide to keep out, to kill the grass and the invasive species that are there. They get it ready, they plant everything, and they maintain everything. But they have, the right of way is what's the big deal. And it can be, they do not like to work within cities because they have trouble with people spraying. So what he did say was, highways are good. However, currently he'd already checked on 40 and Highway 65, and the highway department is using that. You guys have probably seen it where they're keeping all that gravel and asphalt and equipment and stuff like that. However, he did not say that the place across from it was being used by the highway department. So that's a possible area. And I also thought about, in light of the fact that our grant sort of got screwed up, that we might propose they do wildflowers there in that area that we were originally going to clear, because they would do it for us. Now, the downside to all of this is, you know, it's going to take 3 or 4 years before it looks like beautiful wildflowers, right? So it's kind of like you got to juggle a lot of different things with the pollinator piece. And personally, I would love, 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 love for us to get something when we talk with the city about signing on with this, so that the integrated pest management and that sort of thing goes on. I looked at the USDA website, and they have some grant programs, but they're bumped up against the states to us, but not to us. So they have a monarch program and a bee program, and neither of which were we qualified for at the moment. That could change. But I think there's probably some money to be had. I didn't really have time to chase down all of it. But I think that to begin with, the first thing we're gonna have to do is, it does us no good to plan all this stuff and call ourselves a pollinator city if we're just gonna go behind and spray and kill everything we've got. So, you know, you see what I'm saying here?
Yes.
We have bigger things than just planning for pollinators.
Sure.
So I think this is gonna be a really long-term goal. ADOT is tied up until early March before they can look at anything we propose, and at which time they will look at whatever we send. He will come and look at it, determine whether or not the site will work. And he said he usually got everything ready to plant, and they seeded in December and January.
Yeah, I was about to say, the prep and everything isn't until later in the year.
Right.
So what about, a place that I've always thought would be a good spot is where that new bypass, I guess, is going out to Beaver Fork on either side.
Oh, yeah, 25.
You know what I'm talking about? I don't know how much of that is publicly owned, but
Well, he did.
you know, I think the only real issue would be the steep slopes for establishment.
Right, and he did say that you needed 30 or 40 feet usually,
Yeah.
and that is without the right of way and without any fencing or obstacles, you know. So he's gonna have to go look at whatever we propose. Like I said, I don't know, Krista, you're gonna have to tell me, or somebody else, I don't know, about the area that we currently have the grant that we can no longer clear. I don't know if we can do those two things congruently, because the other side is we have to come up with a sponsor for the seeds themselves.
I was gonna say that seemed to be the expense for us, would be the seed sponsorship, right?
Well, yeah, except, you know, one of the things that they do is, you know, if you give $500, you can do a memorial plaque. So this wildflower garden is in memory of Joe Blow. So we probably got some long-term stuff that we can do here beyond one area. Because it sounds to me like he really wants to do a lot more.
But I guess, and it takes me back, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, anything that we do, bear in mind, you're not gonna see it.
Right.
You know, it's not gonna be all beautiful and pretty for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
So in my mind, you know, we should probably do a double-pronged approach and use, or more than double, use the ADOT as just one piece of the pollinator project. Because we're gonna have to do a lot of other work to make sure that it's successful.
I was gonna say, because when we get into recommendations of how to work with the city or pesticides or that long-term management, that would be my question. We don't necessarily have to wait on that to be able to go ahead and start the other, right? Or do we?
Right, no, but I will tell you this, he was pretty adamant about, we're not gonna do anything that the city sprays. So.
So next steps would be site locations, right? And then
Right.
also checking with the city, and I don't know, Kyle, or who is the best person to ask about where do we spray in terms of maintenance, and then, because I know February 10th, there is a meeting already with ADOT about the particular grant that she's mentioning. And I know Kyle, you're gonna be there. I don't know that any of us from the tree board will be there, so if you can mention
I can check and see.
that we
yeah.
already have
I'm not
some.
entirely sure.
And
I'll
so,
check with James
because I
too.
know, and not to, I don't know anything, but there was speak that there's a potential for maybe a larger interstate beautification project that might be a replacement for. So it looks like there might already be some considerations for other use of this money. And so this is where I don't know where our roles are in terms of, do we direct and help? Do we just say the city is now decided to do this and now this is how we use our funds? But since we had kind of already started talking about this last month in terms of coordination with the grant and replacement of, better use of those funds, just know, and Kelly, that meeting is February 10th, so I don't know if you could just get us an initial quick, just a pretty short wrap up, something we could give to James and to support Kyle, just so as y'all go into that meeting, you at least know we've had some conversations about use of that money.
Well, I think that, I'm gonna send out this North American Pollinator Protection Campaign because it is used by so many localities and so many, it's every thing from a city to a state to a USDA that are partners with this. So I think that carries some weight when you're talking to city officials,
Absolutely.
There's a lot of other places already doing this.
But specific to the meeting on the 10th, it is specific to our RDOT grant. So, I mean, even any conversations you've had with Joe, sorry, Krista, you sound like you wanna.
Well, I just want to be clear that the grant that we have will only fund the project that was
Right.
outlined in the grant application.
Absolutely.
So if there are any changes, we either have to get a grant modification, ask for a grant modification, or when I talked to them, talked to the granting agency, which is the ag department, they said what they actually prefer is that we would just not use that grant and reapply for a different project.
So I don't know, Kyle, in terms of conversation, not trying to push any initiative, just saying if y'all are going into a meeting and we have some information, it'd be good to kind of share just initially anyway.
Yeah, I'll talk to James about
Okay.
it.
I think this is a good opportunity for projects like this also to work with businesses and try and get donations that way
Absolutely.
as well.
Agreed.
I think the buy-in to the community, if we can get it organized and, have a good program to roll out, I don't
Yeah,
have
and
any.
you can use it for other things too, say
Yeah.
this will help contribute to our yearly tree plantings.
Yep.
Our pollinators, everything, Arbor Day. And you can really grow a lot of these things, but if you have companies like banks and other organizations, kind of like Conway does every year, they give a donation of $5,000. If you had other businesses that contributed yearly like that, our budget would go up significantly just for that. And we could do a lot of tree plantings and things like this. So I think that's something that we really do need to look into, because I think it would help.
Now, I also think that, pollinators are pretty easy right now, bees and butterflies, they don't have to know that the bees aren't all cute little honeybees and the butterflies aren't just monarch. You know what I'm saying? But those are pretty easy sells. Everybody kind of wants more of those things. So, I think that's a lot easier when we talk about it from that perspective in terms of, spraying and those kinds of things,
Excellent.
There's also some cost savings from all of that, because when you're looking at pollinators, you want the grass to grow taller, you want things to be in place, you want a little more litter, like leaves and that sort of thing. So that's another aspect that you can talk with the city about is, not only are you gonna save on pesticides, but you're also gonna save on gas and noise and all sorts of other things if you allow some of this pollinator-friendly practices.
And I'd be curious, does RDOT have any numbers on that in terms of maintenance and cost? And be curious if they've reaped any benefits they could share. Just through the pollinator programs, the cost savings. just food for thought. If they have some information that we could help.
I can check, Ella, please be quiet. I can check, but I'm gonna guess that it's gonna be easier to find out from some other cities.
Okay.
One of the, I was gonna say, one other thing I read in the minutes was something about the First Community Bank doing pollinator gardens, and with them building a brand new bank right over here, where the Ministry Center used to be, that would be a good place, see if they would wanna put one in there.
And I keep saying I'm going to do that and have not reached out to them. So I don't know, Kelly, if you want to stick to all pollinator, or whoever you want to call in, but it is the First Community Bank. I know they did it in Searcy, but it's with P. Allen Smith, so I don't know if that's contracted specifically through him or if that's their baby. And then I know they're doing a partnership. I just saw they're doing something with Coho in that Hope Village also, I believe, maybe for some gardens or something. So, but yeah, potential for partnerships would be great.
So Kelly, First Community Bank a couple years ago when we did the art contest for Arbor Day, they actually hosted a lot of the art at that location. It was newer to Conway. I think it was their first year here.
Lori Casey.
But Grant Gordy, he was head of that bank. I don't know if he still is there, but he was extremely open to working with the tree board. He was like, whatever y'all need, just please reach out. So
Would you repeat his name, please?
Grant Gordy.
And Lori Case Melton is there also, and she's a big supporter of all things kind of environmental that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
Okay. All right. Anything else on pollinator? And how are we doing on time?
5:30.
It is 5:28.
Okay. We need to be done by 6, 5:30. Okay. All right. So we're gonna move along. Thank you for that, Kelly. Urban Forestry Management Special Committee. I know we've identified a few things that we need to do. I mean, it's early stages, but a few things also part of why we want to meet with City and James is, you know, what kind of information, how do you guys want to receive information? What do you see as priorities? So there's a few questions still lingering around that, but we do know we've got 12 months to get this forestry management plan up to date. Part of what we talked about was looking at consultants to help us and possibly get some grant funding to help with the management plan development. And we have some templates for going on. I don't know, Canton, if there's anything you or Scott want to add to that. And then Krista, I know you had a meeting, or believe y'all had a meeting today with the consultant group, if there's any updates to share from that.
Yeah, actually Canton sat in on that meeting also today, and it was interesting, and I think we're gonna have another meeting with one of their other consultants. The one today, basically what they said is they don't want to work on a management plan without having some baseline data first. So they were trying to sell us basically a Canopy assessment, and they have kind of two different ways that they can provide that. They can provide sort of like a data only, and then we have to turn it into pretty pictures that mean something to people. Or they can sell us the total package that's the data and then a way to look at the data in maps that's real interactive, and you can even like put it on a website and the public can play with it and stuff. And honestly, the price is, it's high in a way because it's an annual subscription, and it was like in the $4,000 to $5,000 a year price range, but it's a lot cheaper than it used to be, and you do get some good stuff from it. But I think there's a chance that Canton can do some of it himself, but honestly, we're still very early in this process. So we're just trying to get a feeling for what's out there and what the prices are and what these different companies can do for us. But we are, I think, gonna meet with another consultant to talk more about the management plan side of it. Sometime in the future. And there are other companies also that do this kind of work that you can talk with as well. So this is just the first one that, I got a meeting with.
And there's a grant, so the submission timeframe's August, so we know we wanna have something kind of together so we can look at funding for potential grant in August, also hinging on the Interstate Beautification Project grant, maybe, so stay tuned on that. Anything else? Urban forestry management?
What they do is they take the existing land use data for the city and they'll make a timeline from 2010 until now, basically, of the canopy change. And that mapping, those maps are available. And then they'll take census block data for each voting district for the city, I think is what it is. And it's basically they compare demographics against what has the highest density of trees and what has the lowest density of trees. And so I can do that, but I don't know if I can, I can't build like a website that's gonna have all of these filters built into it with the map changing if we adjust the filters kind of thing. And I don't know if we could, if I make all of that data into just tabular data, if we can use the same website because that was Tree Plotter, isn't that what that was called, Krista? And so, if we could put it in a table in the right format, then we might be able to use that ourselves.
Well, I think that's their proprietary.
Okay. Because there's a few different tools on not the USGS website, but the website that has the land use land cover maps. There's different tools you can use on there. And so, anyway.
Well, and I think it's wonderful that Canton might be able to do some of this for us. The downside is he doesn't work for the city.
Right.
And he may not always be on the tree board. And so, and so that is actually the nice thing about having a subscription with a company so you'll always have that data and it will be constantly updated.
And does the city currently own or use a resource, and pardon my ignorance, is there someone already doing similar work in the city that the tree part can just become an overlay
So we
to
have
that?
a GIS manager who does all of our mapping stuff and keeps all those layers and updates things.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that this would be something that maybe he could also incorporate into the work that he does. And I can check with him too and see. But yeah, I think since we already have all these other layers, it would be pretty easy to integrate this stuff in once we have all the data.
Yeah, and that's part of, whenever we all can have a chance to sit down, is to talk about what does the city currently have, instead of us trying to figure out how we can piecemeal this together for longevity purposes and cohesion, long-term use and all that, so.
And I know for tree stuff, we don't have a lot right now, but maybe if we're able to get access to more data, I think we should be able to integrate that with what we do have.
Because then we can take the expertise of what we're looking for and all of that, and then just layer it in. But I was able to attend a Zoom for Tree City USA, our urban forestry partners, Department of Ag partners, Harold Fisher. They did a Zoom meeting last week that I just happened to see and jumped on. It's about Tree City USA, it's about landowner programs and things like that. And so they had some really cool statistics for Arkansas that I would like to see us get something similar. And I can send you guys all this PowerPoint link. I got it just this afternoon, but it talks about, it assigns Arkansas like quality of life, environmental benefits from urban forester, $3.1 billion annually. Fayetteville's tree canopy has an estimated inventory of value of $64 million based on stormwater facility construction cost. There's an assignment of North Little Rock's urban forest removing 907,000 pounds of air pollutants, which is valued at...
That's my data!
Krista!
Presentation! That's my PowerPoint!
It's a beautiful PowerPoint. I want to see Conway. on here. But I mean, the assignment.
Because we didn't have that. I mean, those are all independent studies, so that, I mean, it was just a compilation of
Yeah.
different studies.
But back to our point.
I was the one who put it together.
It's wonderful, thank you, and I did feel like I was kind of betraying, like I was on there, I was like, ooh, Krista doesn't know I'm on this call, I knew you were engaged somewhere. On there. I just wanted to make sure.
Because that totally sounds like my presentation.
It's so wonderful, but anyway, but it talks about, you know, population growth, stormwater, so all of these investments, like what is important to our city, where do we see losses, where do we see an increase in value, and so if we can assign a dollar amount, I mean, really, that economic impact in positive ways, either to our resources or, you know, fiscal resources, either way, that would be something that we would love to try to work towards. Now, I don't know if that needs to come through a consultant group or, and again, I'm looking right at you, but because y'all have meetings coming up, we're talking about funding, and I know grants, that was kind of in that email, so this is good timing for all of that too, so anyway, I'll forward.
Oh, yeah,
so
we
you-
could definitely talk about that when we meet with James.
That'd be great, thank you, okay. So we know right now in terms of forestry management plan, we need to get some good data, we need some analysis. We do know that we can also get community service learning projects or local groups engaged to help us with some of the smaller tree inventories and things like that. The big stuff, I think we need to have a bigger conversation about long-term use with that. So we'll follow up again after and have our meetings. Anything else? Forestry management, again, it's super early. And
I think
then,
we have our next committee meeting February 24th, right? Is that what you guys have?
and then, because, yes. I don't know if that'll work with everybody. Okay. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Is that 5:30?
Those are at
I
5.
have 5.
It's at 5. And they've been on Zoom. The extension office, I don't know where they are now, but of course, Zoom or at
They're
the
over
extension
on Faulkner
office.
Street.
I'm
You said you
sorry.
didn't
I meant
know
to
they
say,
were
I didn't know
there.
if they wanted us to come back in the building or not, but thank you.
We're
But yes,
kind of on the fence.
on the fence.
So we're like,
if they want
Yeah,
us to or not.
we're still kind of in the, if you can do things virtually, do them virtually. But we think it's probably changing soon.
Okay. So we'll stay
So
tuned
if
on
you guys
that.
if you guys wanted to meet in person that night, we probably could.
All right. And then, so Tree City USA, so we heard from Rhiannon today that we were approved again this year, that our application went through. And then also as we go, because we've had our Tree City USA standing, we now are in a good position to get some growth awards and recognition for that. So all the steps that we're taking this year will be pretty strategic to work towards that as well. So you'll have all the links for that if you ever want to check it out. And then Conway EcoFest is going to be on Arbor Day weekend. That's April 23rd. That will also require volunteers, and we are looking at activities to get kids to just engage with trees. So nothing specific on that. There were a few ideas lined up, but if there's anyone who wants to spearhead the EcoFest event and some activities, I'm definitely taking volunteers for that. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, but stay tuned. We've got some time on that. And then we do need to get another community action meeting probably set up here in the next week or two, just to talk about Science Wednesday again. So Natalie and Claire, I don't know what works for y'all, and we can take this,
Natalie's still here?
we can figure it out later. We don't have to hold everybody up for that. So anything else pending that I have not hit that you guys would like to discuss? All right, well then I guess somebody, we will adjourn. Do I adjourn us? Or do I take motion to adjourn? Everybody's good on Zoom too? No questions? Okay. All right, it is 5:40. Thank you. Somebody second me before we take off.
Second.
Thank you.
I didn't know if we voted or seconded.
And like
or-
somebody seconded me.
Seconded.
And then our next meeting will be March 1st.
March 1st.
Look there, dear.
That's a Tuesday.
I'm sorry, just
Right.
kidding. No, it's gonna be March 7th. March 7th. Correct. All right.
Am I taking notes?
Thank y'all so much. Appreciate you. You ready to take those?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be exactly.
Let's talk about this.